Hey, it's the Empire, Boxing Empire, Boxer Boxing. Nah, man, wild stuff last night, man. I'm still trying to interpret what happened between Charles Prince Martin and Luis King Kong Ortiz, man. Charles Martin decided to fight Satan hell by fighting Luis Ortiz in Florida. That Florida, if you didn't know, if you're not American, has a huge Cuban demographic, right? A lot of people who move from Cuba, uh, the biggest population of Cubans are in Florida. So this was basically like fighting Luis King Kong Ortiz in Cuba itself. So the crowd was a pro Luis King Kong Ortiz crowd, man, and the fight was on and popping. Now, when the fight happened, man, a lot of people, including me going into the fight, I thought that Luis King Kong Ortiz is a better boxer than Charles Martin. I just wasn't keen on Ortiz's chin. I thought that Deontay Wilder have affected his chin and that he would get stopped because his punch resistance has went down. And as the fight went on, I was shocked because not only was Ortiz getting dropped by everything that landed by Charles Martin, he was getting outboxed as well. So that being said, man, Charles Martin, the first drop, he hit Ortiz with the overhand left, clipped Ortiz, dropped him in round one. And then as the fight went on, Charles Martin was outboxing Ortiz, and he was just controlling him with a jab in the outside, moving around the ring, outboxing the kid, right? Fight went on. Charles Martin drops Ortiz with a jab. Ortiz was shocked, but he gets dropped nevertheless. Now, during the fight, Ortiz, you could see him making a little bit of adjustments. He was throwing body shots, right? He was getting closer to Charles Martin. And at the end of the day, King Kong Ortiz started timing Charles Martin with the overhand left, right? Hit Charles Martin clean. Charles Martin froze, didn't know what day it was. And Luis King Kong Ortiz just went ballistic on him, man. Threw like a 9-punch combination and, was hitting, or it looked like he was hitting Charles Martin, but Charles Martin like turned in a weird way. Ortiz hit Charles Martin like 90 times in the back of the head. I never seen anything like it. But, Charles Martin was out of it. His hand got caught in a rope the first time he got dropped. The ref had to figure out how to get his hand off the rope, right? And the fight continued. Ortiz basically just finished the job. Martin wasn't there all the way. He continued to just let his hands go against Charles Martin, and the ref ended up stopping the fight, man. It was a really good win for Luis King Kong Ortiz. The fight didn't play out like I thought it would as far as the outboxing goes. I did think that Ortiz was the better boxer, but it showed that Charles Martin does have really good boxing ability. He just, got hit with a cleaner shot in King Kong Ortiz, and this is the first time Charles Martin was legitimately stopped in his career. Now, that fight with Anthony Joshua, he was stopped in that fight as well, but he was wide awake for that fight and his facilities were there. But in this fight with King Kong Ortiz, he was out. He was just out. He was out. That was for sure knockout if Charles Martin would have continued that fight. But that shows you how elite Charles Martin was. I kept trying to tell people how Charles Martin, if he beats you in a fight, he's not going to decision you. He's going to drop you. And Charles Martin showed his power by dropping Ortiz with a jab, right? By dropping him with the overhand left, right? And I do think it has more. I think that it's not just the fact that Luis King Kong Ortiz was stopped by Deontay Wilder, that Charles Martin just has power and really good timing too, because he was timing Ortiz in those shots, right? So let's get credit to Charles Martin, man. I thought he did great. King Kong Ortiz managed to pull it off, man. Timing impeccable. It's that Cuban school of boxing, and he was able to catch Charles Martin slipping, and he ended up finishing the fight. So, we're gonna see where Charles Martin goes from here in his career. I think it was definitely a competitive fight. They both dropped each other twice, and it was a fight where all three judges had Charles Martin winning the fight. So Charles Martin was dominating the fight until the stoppage, before the stoppage, and you know, Ortiz basically just figured the guy out, right? Download complete. He was doing some things really well, and Ortiz adjusted and made the adjustments, you know? So all that being said, you know, I do think that Ortiz and Charles Martin are phenomenal fighters, and they do have big futures from here on out because of that fight. It didn't play out like a lot of people thought it would play out. Understand that no one has outboxed Ortiz in his whole boxing career. Charles Martin was the first person to do that, you know. So that being said, you know, it showed the eliteness of Charles Martin, and that idea that he won an IBF title because the guy messed his leg up, quote unquote, is just a naysayer approach. It's not the reality. The reality is Charles Martin in this fight with King Kong Ortiz, before he got hurt, he was winning the fight, right? Dropped Ortiz twice, was timing Ortiz better, was sharper than Ortiz, boxed better than Ortiz. He did everything better than Ortiz until he got caught, you know? So that being said, man, you know, a lot of people trash my boy Charles Martin because, you know, the whole quote with Anthony Joshua. Some of these UK fans can't let it go, man. You know, I worked this earth like a god, and then he lost. You know, we get it. Your guy won, but you know, Anthony Joshua has seen better days, in him losing to Alexander Usyk, a cruiserweight turned heavyweight. So that being said, a lot of people want to hold it against Charles Martin when their guy Anthony Joshua, he's not looking too great these days, you know. And if he fights Alexander Usyk in a rematch, it's hard to see if he's gonna beat Alexander Usyk. Now, I did see Anthony Joshua training with Floyd Money Mayweather. Could that change things? Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, it's hard to imagine anyone training with a Floyd Mayweather and that being a revamped, different kind of fighter, you know. So, you know, we're gonna see how this whole thing plays out, but Anthony Joshua, his reign is waning, you know. He used to be seen as invincible, untouchable, the best. A lot of people were saying in the UK that he's better than Lennox Lewis, you know. But now with his loss to a cruiserweight and Alexander Usyk, I don't know, man. He's looking more human every day. So, you know, obviously this is not the first loss of Anthony Joshua. Him getting stopped against Andy Ruiz as well, you know, he's stacking up these L's, man. Stacking up these L's like Tetris. So, that all being said, you know, the heavyweight division is more competitive than people want to give credit for, and a lot of people just don't give credit to these other fighters because they might have a loyalty to A fighter or B fighter, you know. But I always see the heavyweight division for what it is, a competitive division, and that's why I always talk about these smaller fighters. You know, yesterday I broke down the Johnny Rice fight, or I talked about it, and I watched all of the sport as far as the heavyweight division goes. You know, even fighters people wouldn't think are that great. I understand that Johnny Rice, when he knocked out Michael Coffey the first time around, you know, he was seen as a journeyman. But now he's a veteran who rematched him and got the dub, and people are talking about him now. So, you know, same thing with Jerry Forrest. I've been hyping him up for a while, and then he fought Michael Hunter to a draw. So I follow all the heavyweight division, man. These fighters are a lot closer to each other than what people think. This Ortiz fight versus Charles Martin was a shocker. I thought that Charles Martin could land that one clean shot. Unfortunately, when he hit Ortiz with those shots, they were glancing blows. They weren't full on clean flush hits, right? That one jab he threw, though, he did land it. That was a clean hit. But let's say the knockout punch that Ortiz landed on Charles Martin was not able to land that on Ortiz, even though he dropped him. Those were halfway landed punches, you know. But anyway, any other way, man, it was a great fight, man. Thank you, Al Heyman. Thank you, PPC, for that fight. That was a pay-per-view worthy fight, man. It was a great fight. It had a lot of everything you want in a fight, man. It had waves, one guy winning the fight, and then it had the drama, and then it had the shocking knockout. Now, after the fight, Charles Martin tried to go to Ortiz because he was still awake, but he just wasn't really doing anything. tried to talk to Ortiz, and Ortiz pushed him in the ring, and then everyone started fighting in the ring after the fight. It was some wild stuff, man. That was a great fight, man. It reminded me of Floyd Mayweather versus Zab Judah when that fight happened, and then they started fighting in the ring in the mid-match. Everyone started hopping in. It remind me of that. So crazy stuff, man. Classic fight, and yeah, we're gonna see what happens from here. Let me know you guys feel about it, though. Like, comment, subscribe. This is the Empire. Jubas Empire. Peace.